Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we're getting a good gander at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the world of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. Wow, I had a couple of introductions I wanted to do and I couldn't pick one. Let me start over. My name is Breakaway Ray. Ever since I connected with those Renaissance era Rosicrucians, these guys will not leave me alone. Hey, I forgot the other one, but that's okay. You've tuned into a live tarot throw. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. It's June 23rd, 2026. I made some posters, so let's check them out. We'll see what's on the show today. We're going to start off the day with tarot tic-tac-toe. Don't ask me what tarot tic-tac-toe is. I just made it up. I'm going to figure it out as I go along. It's going to be fun. In honor of Sir Philip Sidney, I'm going to go contemporaneous with the Botticelli tarot deck. Also, we're going to be posing some questions about the discussion I'm going to be having with myself that is already pre-scripted. We're going to be talking about the Invisible College again. We'll be comparing Renaissance philosopher and writer Sir Philip Sidney with Breakaway Ray. See how they measure up. Do a little tail of the tape with the two men. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Oh yeah, my name is Breakaway Ray. My entire life is for entertainment purposes only. Because I'm suffering from anamnesis. I'm on a media fast. And it's like being in a sensory deprivation tank, like the movie Altered States, which I've done actually. I've talked about this before, being in a flotation tank. Okay, I've deprived my senses of TV and excess screen time. And now my brain is filling in the rest. So I've been sharing that on the last couple of programs. Well, let's continue. What else might we talk about today? We're going to throw some cards and see if John D, the original 007, has a message for us. You know what's awesome? It's that you're watching this and you're saying, anamnesis, whatever, Breakaway Ray, you're losing it because you got no TV. And this is very entertaining for us, right? This is better than the stuff we see on Netflix. So, rock on, Breakaway Ray. Let us have it. We're having fun watching you melt down. Right? Self-deprecating humor. It's all right, everybody. Remember, I play things up for entertainment purposes. So, there's a proposal that there's an invisible college. I don't know why I even said that. There's an invisible college. Where do you think all these brilliant ascendant masters go? They're all hanging around in the spirit world, checking out what's going on and strategizing and sending resources and energy and trying to lift everybody up. So we'll see if there's a message from the Invisible College. We're going to use one of the Rider-Waite imagery decks because, after all, Mr. Waite was part of the team, part of the Sidney circle, hanging out with Sir Philip Sidney and John D, as a matter of fact. We're going to talk about, because we're going to reflect it on you, everybody. We're going to talk about your soul. Use it or lose it. That'll be part of my notes today. And I guess I wrote this out. I wonder if we're going to throw cards about this. I don't know. But it says here, there's a little bit of spy infiltration, a theme of secret knowledge and special tools. Okay. And I also wrote right there, turn off the TV. Well, you may be distracting yourself. You may be taking up your time and your mind's energy when really you got your own team in the cosmos trying to send you messages. Am I projecting? I apologize. Remember, it's for entertainment purposes only. My head's ringing all the time. I feel compelled to turn on the camera and talk about these kinds of things to you. So I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope my notes go over well. I try to stay organized. Do I have anything else down here? Nope, I got it all. I think we're ready to play Tarot Tic-Tac-Toe. Let's go to the tarot cam. All right. Let's clean it up downstairs. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Where does this go? All right, let's put it there. All right, muy excelente. Almost ready, everybody. I could do better than that. I like it when the orb is on the light. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching the behind-the-scenes stage setting. Thank you very much, stagehands. Let's make sure all the cards are out of the box. Yep, we need this guy. It's the Botticelli deck. How beautiful is that? Nice. Better art there. All right. Are we ready? All right, here we go. So, we're already throwing. We're going to play Tarot Tic-Tac-Toe. We're going to lay out 9 cards, and then I'm going to find a major message, and then we're going to find the satellite periphery energies that contribute to that major message. And it's going to paint a picture that's going to share some wisdom or perhaps even some foreshadowing, a preview of what thoughts I'm going to entertain today for your entertainment. All right. Thanks for joining me. Tarot Tic-Tac-Toe. Let's give it a try. Woohoo. All right. Okay. We're going to play it that way. I guess we get 9 spots. That's fair because that flavors the energy, right? When you put red food coloring in with yellow food coloring, you get a different flavor. Okay, wait a second. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. Did I get it off there yet? All right, Tarot Tic-Tac-Toe, here we go with the Botticelli deck. I'm going to need my magnifying glass. There it is. Wow. So first up, it's the 3 of Wands. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Foresight, planning for the future. Whoops. Next, it's the Ace of Wands. There's magic in the air. The 2 of Cups. There's a communication and maybe a partnership. Could be a lot more to that card. Whoa. Next up, 2 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is spinning around the 2 of Wands. The future is spinning around what's currently being planned. Oh, we're getting cosmic. Okay, I know what's going on, I think. It's the 7 of Wands, overcoming all challenges. And the Tower. Things are falling apart. Well, I'm going to save this one because I feel like this is the 3 in a row here. So I'm going to go backwards. The 4 of Swords, meditation, repose, relaxation. I'm going to go heavy on the meditation part there. Maybe even media fast, 4 of Swords. Oh, calling everybody out. Okay, the Page of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. The Page of Wands. There are limitless opportunities for people selected for this opportunity. So we would ought to see like the Eight of Swords card as much as you can imagine along those lines. We're going to reveal these and then find out where the major theme comes through in a phrase. Let's see what we got. Nine of Cups, Six of Pentacles. It's a wish come true, so let's do business. Okay, so the future depends on the decisions you're making now and how you execute your plans, namely for your own soul's benefit. And it's a wish come true, so we want to do business with you. So how do all these other energies contribute to that message? That you have a spirit team encouraging you to expand your consciousness and perfect your soul, as they say in the Rosicrucian school. Well, Ace of Wands, the magic is in knowing that you can overcome all these challenges that seem to get you down here at surface planet Earth. Because again, you've been chosen for this special opportunity and you could go as far as you want. The sky is the limit. Again, contributing to this message. Your soul is important. You need to do something with it. Perfect it. And then, by the way, this is a message from the spirit world. You need to pay attention to the things that are coming down around you. Because and relax. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I get it. All right. So the message from the spirit world is, there's enough craziness in the world. Go meditate, ground yourself, get centered. Well, anyway, everybody, please use discernment, and thank you very much for being kind with your attention. Take the tarot world. That was kind of fun. What are you kidding me? I get the message. It's definitely, thematically related to the notes I spent the last 90 minutes preparing. So thank you very much for the help, tarot world. Great teamwork. It's like lesson plans with a good teacher, a very professional. Okay. We're going to stay. We're going to plan it out. It's going to save time because many hands make I blew one of my favorite expressions. Many hands make work light. Okay. Let's, oh yeah, good. I'm getting out my sentence strips. Almost ready. All right. So I was learning a little bit more about Sir Philip Sidney, and my book order came in the other day. It was delivered yesterday, as a matter of fact, and it was all about Rosicrucianism. And just from looking at it, in the small amount of time that I did, I found out that one of the main things about Rosicrucianism is reincarnation. it's metempsychosis. And if you got a chance to read the link, if I posted it correctly in the last two videos, where I have a discussion with Google's AI called Gemini about metempsychosis. Well, okay. Anyway, I had a difficult time just trying to remember about the AI I was trying to tell you about. So, anamnesis. We're studying anamnesis, and that's the whole thing, right? So, a lot of my shows have been about metempsychosis, reincarnation. And a lot of times I have it prepared. I have it on a sentence strip like this, right? And it says metempsychosis, and I drag it by. So I was like looking for it before the show, and I couldn't find it. But I did find all these sentence strips, and they're oldies but goodies. So I'm going to share them with you, right? Like in case you're having coffee or you're ready for some, some wisdom. I'm just going to be ripping them off here. Let's see what I got. All right, so here's the word anamnesis. It's a soul resonance. It's about, wait, do I have one? Anamnesis. It memories from a past life. That's what I've been exploring the last couple of days, which I could not have done if I was not on a media fast. Because let's face it, I'm walking around all day long with nothing else in my mind, and I got a puzzle and I can't help trying to solve it. Part of it is, of course, my preparation for looking for past lives in the book that I wrote called Convoluted Autobiography. That's definitely linked correctly in the description. And I'm going to be talking more about the Convoluted Autobiography today. But here's the word anamnesis, soul resonance, and I need to pronounce it like this. Anamnesis. All right. Here's another one that I like that I heard from Reverend Al Sharpton, but that doesn't mean he coined it. This one's timeless. Come on. Be profound, not profane. Be profound, not profane. Be careful what words you use. You want to perfect your soul. You want to lift it up. Don't drag it down with profanity. Okay? By the way, you keep the air clear for everybody else. Thank you very much. Okay. Some wisdom from one of my grandparents, my Italian-American Italian, excuse me. My grandma was born over there. God helps those who help themselves. God helps those who help themselves. Ain't that true about the universe? Come on. You can't be sitting on the sofa and going, come on, hey, sores. You got to get up and do something. Okay. This is one of my favorites, and I thank God that it is. Save for a rainy day. Thank God I did. And here you go. I'm going to make the sign of the cross right there. All right. So sometimes people talk about what manifestation is, and I think that this is from Margot Elise Miller. Okay. Relief equals gratitude plus visualization. That's the math of manifestation. So if you have gratitude for something that you believe is already there and you feel a sense of relief, you've already accommodated that energy into your matrix, into your world. Here's one that seems to keep me inspired. Gratitude is the parent of all virtues. Gratitude is the parent of all virtues. And then there's a great song, Be Thankful for What You Got. Very groovy soul music. I think it was 1970s music. Although I never really heard it until like the last decade or so with the new digital radios. Let's go back a couple thousand years. How about the Latin term, here you go, everybody. Amor fati, all right, love your fate. Everybody's got their own fate. Maybe your fate looks a little bit rougher than somebody else's fate. Well, nobody would want anyone else to rub it in anyone else's face about how we all plan it together. You all make a decision to come down here. That's not the point. Okay. The point is you love your fate. You make good with what you got. Make good with what you got. And God will help those who help themselves. It's easy to get down, so accentuate the positive. That's a famous Ella Fitzgerald song that my grandmother used to sing. Wow, Ella Fitzgerald, so wonderful. Accentuate the positive. For me, as a elementary school teacher at one time, I had to make a decision. Do I go into the staff room or do I go into the cafeteria where the children are eating? I had to choose the more positive path to get into the area where the restrooms were. Accentuate the positive. Look for that silver lining. Pennies from heaven, everybody. Frank Sinatra and Count Basie. All right. Turn that frown upside down. All right. Depression era magic there. Mind over matter. Where am I going? Oh, yeah. And then I found this one because I found this that I presented on some show previously about Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about Yogi Berra again today. So first, I want to read to you what it says on this card. So Yogi Berra is a baseball player here in the United States of America. Not anymore. I think Yogi's passed on. But he was a great baseball player. He was part of the great New York Yankee teams of the 1950s. They won many world championships in a row, the World Series. Yogi was the catcher who caught the only perfect game in World Series history from Don Larson. I'm not going to explain that, but if you know your baseball lore, you know what I'm talking about. Yogi, after the game is over on the last pitch, you know, it's a perfect game. It's the only perfect game in World Series history. As far as did they have one recently? I can't remember, but I think they had a no-hitter. But anyway, back to Yogi. You know, as soon as the pitch was in his mitt, he ran out and he jumped in Don Larson's arms, and you know, like he was a little boy running into his dad's arms. But the thing is, you know, Yogi's a full-grown man. Don Larson had back problems the rest of his life after that. So Don Larson says. I saw an interview on this. Nevertheless, they all had a good time winning championships. That's a legendary moment. You could look it up. But anyway, so on the occasion of his Baseball Hall of Fame induction in 1972, Yogi Berra, who had a very funny way of putting things, okay, here's what he said. He said, "I just want to thank everyone who made this day necessary." You know, that they had to have a whole ceremony so that they could get him into the Hall of Fame. He had his own little wry sense of humor. Yogi was not his real name, of course. I mean, you might think it would be. You could go either way on that one, right? But Yogi was a nickname. He was nicknamed that because of the way he sat. You know, his legs crossed in a certain way, and he looked like a yogi. So the guys in the dugout gave him a nickname. All right, let me get my notes now. I think I'm getting fired up. Yeah, it's going to be a long show. You're welcome. Well, oh yeah. Again, dude. I'm sorry, I'm making sure I got all my notes covered here. All right. So one of the things I wanted to share today, I've been toying with the idea, and this is for entertainment purposes only, that perhaps I might be a reincarnated version of Sir Philip Sidney, a Renaissance writer of Elizabethan England. But he was not just a writer, he was a diplomat. He was a courtier, I believe I'm using that term correctly, as opposed to courtesan. He and his sister were well aware of the occult, which I feel is a science that has gotten away from us, like weather control. I think that everyone has the right and duty and responsibility, and probably the joy and the, you know, etc., of manipulating their own soul's path, and reincarnation is part of that, and it's part of Hermetic sciences. And it's only recently, like in the last century or so, that people have poo-pooed reincarnation. Well, okay, there's two schools of thought. Well, there's at least two schools on that. But in any case, back to reincarnation, and well, maybe me. So if you think of the Star Wars space opera and the character Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you'd have to think about them chronologically, not in the order that they came out as movies. And the way the story went, and I think I stopped after 9 or 10 or whatever. But anyway, I'm talking about how at the very end, the young Skywalker twins, Luke and Leia, are born. And Obi-Wan Kenobi spirits them away. And he's, you know, in the background protecting at least one of them while they grow up. Because now is not the time to join in the fray. Okay, they had to wait and regenerate for the right opportunity. And that would be when Luke Skywalker gets older, right? So he's off in the desert and he's got his eye on the day that Luke, not Luke so much, but the time when Luke is ready to go. That's when we go for it, because that means the whole galaxy is ready for some action. Okay. Well, you know, again, Sir Philip Sidney and his whole coterie, and the ideals shared by the Rosicrucianism, which he shared with them to begin with, way back before the year 1614, when the Rosicrucians printed their texts. Okay, the whole show was metempsychosis. You know, you are where you are now, and then what can you do right now to sharpen your soul, perfect it, so that the next time around, not only is it not just good for you, but you're raising up all of humanity. Do you want to come back to a neighborhood that's run down? No, you want to, lift up the whole thing, and you want to be an opportunity to be able to do that. So what have I got here? I just wanted to share that little analogy. Like, I think, sure, this sounds egotistical. This is for entertainment purposes only, but hang on a second. There's more to it, right? Okay. What if Sir Philip Sidney said, you know what, 2026 is the right time to hatch that egg or whatever with Breakaway Ray and come back and do the same thing that I wanted to do before. Maybe he's done it in other lifetimes since then at opportune moments. It's been a couple of centuries. Okay. So one reason why none of this means anything is that I'm not that guy. And that's a very high standard, by the way. I mean, if you had to pick somebody with good morals, that's a very high standard. There's no way I'm going to even contribute here. I'm already like bringing down the average with this guy. He's really great. I wouldn't even be talking about him if he wasn't so awesome. So good for him. But the other thing is, what difference does it make? That's just one of his lifetimes. It's just one. He did a good job that time getting things organized in the Invisible College and setting things up for many schools of thought, many schools of philosophy, and protecting Hermetic knowledge. But that's just one lifetime. Surely he's come back before, for example, or a spirit like his, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, according to, I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it on my own computer. Whatever that unified theory is that I came up with. Yeah, do humans reincarnate on Earth? Yeah, they do. Okay. And do extraterrestrials come down and incarnate on Earth? Yes. And might there be an organization of extraterrestrials that's incarnating down here on Earth to help humanity progress and ascend? And aren't there some associations here on Earth, representative of them in the cosmos, that do the same thing? They're not mutually exclusive. Okay, the Rosicrucians themselves could have been space brothers coming down from the cosmos, because all you're doing is like a Rosicrucian knows. You're taking the soul, the electromagnetic personality, and you're laying over a new meat bag, a new ugly bag of water with a crystalline skeleton. It's got crystals in it. You're electromagnetic. You have an aura. Okay, and then when you're done with this one, your soul just goes off to find another one. But you can train your soul while you're alive now to aim in the direction you want it to go. And I held on to those notes. I'm going to share them with you in a minute. How to perfect your soul. I'm going to be getting to that part. All right. I'm going to go back to Yogi Berra now. How about that? Okay, so more on Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra, I mentioned he was a world champion. His number was 8, and he's in the Hall of Fame. I mentioned that. Okay, and by the way, he was such a great player. This doesn't even sound like a real thing. It doesn't sound real at all. If you know baseball, Yogi Berra in one season, he only struck out 5 times. Can you imagine a baseball player striking out just 5 times in a season? Okay, exquisite skills. He later became a sports broadcaster. That's how I got to know him. Watching a ball game with my uncles and my grandpa and my brothers and my cousins. And then, there would be Yogi Berra. Later on, he became a manager. But anyway, okay. So here's a joke. I want to share with you another kooky Yogi Berra-ism, okay? Another unusual way of looking at things for Yogi, okay? It's all kind of related. That's why I picked it. All right, so he's having a conversation with his wife, and his wife points out to Yogi. Yogi's wife points out to him, okay? Yogi, you played for the Yankees there in New York, okay? You were born in this state. I think it was Ohio. I don't know. We'll just say Ohio for now. Okay. And you went to school in this state or whatever. So there were like 3 main places that meant something to Yogi. There were 3 places that meant something to Yogi. So Yogi's wife asked him, when you die, where do you want to be buried? And Yogi Berra says, surprise me. All right. And then the last one I want to say from Yogi, okay, it goes along with the rest of our story. It ain't over till it's over. And it's true, I mean, especially in baseball, you still got one strike left. Okay, it ain't over yet. Okay, that little grimace you saw is like when the Red Sox beat the Yankees about a decade and a half ago. That kind of hurt. I'm thinking of Johnny Damon. Okay, let's go on to my next page. All right, Sir Philip Sidney. He was a patron of, hey, everybody, just so we all know what we're getting into, because some of you might want to take a pause. I got 13 pages written out, just letting you know. We're already a half an hour in. All right, I'm going to take one of my 3 timeouts, please. Timeout. Yeah, that was a makeup timeout. All right. So Sir Philip Sidney was a patron of esoteric arts and of Giordano Bruno. Giordano Bruno. I'm not going to explain a lot about Giordano Bruno. He was a priest. He was a hermetic scientist. He knew about all the worlds off-world. He understood expanded consciousness. He understood soul science. He was the famous contributor to the idea of the memory palace. He had an extraordinary memory. I believe that we could all have the same memory. None of us practice what he does. None of us practice what he does. Just like another thing I would say that we don't do, I mentioned this a long, long time ago, speed reading. Speed reading. When I was in New York in 8th grade in Buffalo, New York, I stayed after school for a class on speed reading, and it really benefited me. And then I spent 33 years in elementary school, keeping my eye on all areas of education. And I never heard of anybody ever say, yeah, Mr. Breakaway, I'm going to go to a speed reading class after school. I never heard. So, speed reading's gone by the wayside. Remote viewing is about to go by the wayside. These are all things we're just giving up because, we're not using them. We're not exercising them. No one tells us that we can do them. And so we don't know. We don't even try. We just see what else is on TV. So anyway, Giordano Bruno, master memory man, and you can look him up yourself. Turns out one of the very first videos I did when we started STARCARD podcast last summer was about Giordano Bruno. Just like, of all the people, I don't know why I was drawn to that guy, but it turns out Sir Philip Sidney was a patron of Giordano Bruno. I might as well tell you this story now because it's fresh in my mind. Giordano Bruno came from the Naples area of Italy, and he came up to England, and he spent some time there as a guest of Sir Philip Sidney. Sir Philip Sidney, thought that this guy, Giordano Bruno, was a hero. And so he took Giordano Bruno to Oxford University to meet with the greatest minds of England who were at Oxford University at the time. And Giordano Bruno got up and shared his ideas with these Englishmen. And it was not well received. And apparently, from what I researched and found out, these great thinkers at Oxford University mocked Giordano Bruno's Italian Neapolitan accent. All right. Well, I think they missed the point. Okay. I know. Maybe if you're a longtime viewer, you recognize that sound. I'll be revisiting that theme. Let me make sure I got my notes covered. Don't tell me, okay, here I go. Sir Philip Sidney, during the Renaissance, he put in place the Invisible College to preserve secret knowledge. He was an OG white hat, hanging out with hermetic scientists and magicians, battling the bad, and championing humanity through the spirit world and navigating metempsychosis, the transmigration of souls, and doing so from lifetime to lifetime. The Invisible College he established planned to deliver advanced science with hermetic wisdom to humanity. Oh, so now I'm going to do my impression of Sir Philip Sidney. Yeah, when you see this, you're going to say, that sounds just like Sir Philip Sidney. That's amazing, Breakaway Ray. Okay, are you ready? Sir Philip Sidney. Here we go.
The Orion Wars are over, you thought. Not important, are they? No such thing as a soul, were you thinking? Soon, true that will be. A last chance you have to wake up.
Just like Sir Philip Sidney, right? Okay, so I'm going to read it to you again, just in my regular voice. Okay. The Orion Wars are over, you thought. Not important, are they? No such thing as a soul, were you thinking? Soon, true that will be. A last chance you have to wake up. How did Sir Philip Sidney use metempsychosis, the reincarnation process, to further this incredibly lofty goal of bringing to humanity, or bringing back to humanity, advanced science and hermetic wisdom? This chance for people to get a hold of their own souls and eventually ascend and escape whatever corrupted the reincarnation process and messed up everything on earth. Sir Philip Sidney did it by purifying his soul. So I have some notes from last time about purifying the soul, 4 simple bullet points, which you can't see very well. Anyway, I'm going to read them to you, okay? First of all, master one complex craft. Apparently mine's going to be writing. It's easy to select music, right? Because there's still going to be instruments when you come back, if you have to come back, okay? Conquer your main defect. Conquer your main defect. Where are you bleeding energy, I would like to ask. That's a good question. Let's stop that gap and make sure you don't carry it into the next one. Build an esoteric library. Now, I'm not even just talking about, regular books on a shelf or places you bookmark on your computer. Build an esoteric library. I'm talking about really opening up connections and understandings and libraries on the inside in your mind, creating a memory palace for your soul to stroll around and exercise, okay? Put the things that you've discovered in those very lovely decorated palatial rooms in your memory palace, okay? Your soul is looking to stretch its legs. All right. And then also run rhythmic commands, chanting, drum circles, music. I got to say, musical theater, it's so much fun. And, you're sustained and paying attention to rhythms, for a long period of time to make sure the show gets pulled off. I don't know how many people do musical theater anymore. I guess I really treasure that particular part of my life. Anyway, good notes, everybody. Moving on. Okay, back to Sir Philip Sidney. How did he do it? Sir Philip Sidney purified his soul. Now, here in the United States of America, people who do not learn about the soul or attend religious services might say, okay, I mean, these are people that are saying, is there a soul, or is there really a soul, or if there is a soul, so what? Okay, it doesn't really have a bearing on what I have to do, but here's what they might say, purifying the soul. What does that mean? What is a soul anyway? Are they real? That's what they talk about in church. What soul, Breakaway Ray? You live, you watch TV, you die. What soul? Now, I've listened to a lot of video on social media so I could be brainwashed and letting my imagination get away with me with conspiracy theories. So this is for entertainment purposes only. How's that for eye contact? That's my best set right there for the show so far. Anyway, I got good notes I'm counting on right here, okay? So I've listened to a lot of videos, and I'm not going to name the person I've heard this from, but here I go. I've heard this from people who have experiences off-world in the breakaway civilizations. Off-world, some in the upper strata of breakaway German worlds abide by a philosophy of do what thou wilt. In other words, do whatever you want. If no one can stop you, no one can stop you. If you die after 1,000 years, they're just going to put you in a new body unless you plan it first. There's human engineered, ramshackle, spiritual science out there where the reincarnation process has been hijacked. Let's change the subject. Ready? Oh, I'm going to take one of my timeouts, makeup timeout. Excuse me. When I was in high school in the 1980s, before widespread internet use, I mean, by and large, people were not even really supposed to know anything about an internet or expect big things from it. As Homer Simpson once said, internet, is that thing still around? All right. So anyway, this is the 1980s, no internet, okay? In school, in English class, we had to do something called a DCE, a documented critical essay. Okay, it required research, composing a thesis, and supporting it. And, it was almost like a 6-week process because you had to turn in your note cards so the teacher could look at them before you moved on and wrote up your rough draft and then typed out the final draft. And back in those days, those were the last days of just you were using a typewriter. So right when I graduated high school, typewriters were phased out in my life, and I finally had a computer where I could do word processing. A computer you would all laugh at. It was so gigantic. It had what kind of printing paper I have with the little holes on the side and the 2 wheels, and I rolled it. All right, anyway, back to my notes. When I was in high school in the 1980s, before widespread internet use, we had to do a DCE, a documented critical essay. It required research, composing a thesis, and supporting it. And about 5 years ago, as technology was introduced to make that academic exercise nearly irrelevant. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I just stumbled all over my own notes. So about 5 years ago, I'm sitting in my principal's office, and it came up that artificial intelligence was basically doing the same thing that we had to do when we were in school. We had to do the DCE. We had to do the research. We had to do the documentation. And now all kids had to do is hey, AI, please support and document blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go play. And I mentioned to the teacher, the principal that I was talking to, that's pretty much the end of education right there. They don't even have to think anymore. And what you've heard me speak about this kind of thing before, they let, we're letting calculators do math for us, for one. We're letting technology spare me the burden of bettering my brain and strengthening my character. Because let's face it, if you don't do that kind of research, it's not quite the same. You want to mature and learn new ways to organize your mind and how to document and organize in the real world so you can navigate things properly as an adult. So I value that as a secondary school form of education. But you're practicing that as early on as in first grade. Moving on with my notes here. Well, guess what? It's happening with spiritual science and the science of the soul. And if you don't use it, you're going to lose it with everything else. How do I know this? I don't know this. I'm picking it up as I've learned tarot, and as I pursue studies, and as I examine spiritual books. I've read the Dolores Cannon book, Canon, all the Convoluted Universe books, and various others. I'm really keen. I'm not going to document my my extra fun work with various people on exploring the invisible world, but it sounds like a guy that would get along with Sir Philip Sidney. So let's go now to Star Wars. I'm wearing my Star Wars tie, and talk about the Force. Yeah, because now we're talking about like appreciating the invisible world and the mystery of energies around us, which for me, growing up, when I was growing up, I was not supposed to really know that kind of stuff or figure that kind of thing out. So anyway, I was about 10 years old when I saw the first Star Wars movie, and they were talking about this thing called the Force. And even though by and large, when you look back at it, they didn't say a whole lot, but it definitely sparked my imagination, because that's the mystery of the exchange of energies that our whole civilization is trained not to pay attention to. Yet it rings so true to us. So it felt real to me, and it felt like it was okay to feel like it was real, because sometimes I felt like there was a force, and sometimes I felt like this at church, like especially when they're ringing the church bells. All right, and put it all together, Breakaway Ray. So maybe this was George Lucas putting the Holy Spirit in space. And that's okay, right? Still the Holy Spirit. Okay. The point is that it did not feel heretical or like I was going against the church to think about, what the Force really was. It really felt like there was some kind of magic. So, well, you could look at the Force and you could study ancient scripture that we're not really told about, and you could see where an idea like that, might have cousins in ancient literature. The Force, Rosicrucianism, Buddhism, Hermeticism. And you know what? You can practice all of it, and none of it would be incompatible with whatever your religion is, if you have one, because these are all sciences. Hermeticism is a science that illuminates and reinforces your theology and your cosmology. I think that's the whole thing with the Rosicrucianism. When you mix it with the Hermeticism, you really appreciate Christianity even more. Especially if you're getting up to speed with Rudolf Steiner. So anyway, back to Philip Sidney, my possible forebear from the 1500s, and the court of Queen Elizabeth I. And Sir Philip Sidney, it was a foundational contributor to Rosicrucianism and the Invisible College, and he may have slingshot himself 500 years into the future to 2026 to come back and to tell us all about it again while there's still a chance to help. That's the story that I'm entertaining with my imagination. And it proves to be quite a talking point for a man who lives by himself. There's goals that I need to get up to speed with or align with. But anyway, why am I saying all this? So I did mention that I published a book called The Convoluted Autobiography. And in that book, there's various research and data I explore that suggests that I've had previous lives. Okay. Some of the content of the book is my imagination, imagining a life off-world as Gerald Hofbrauhausen, a former teacher from planet Centaurian, which is in the next star system over. And he's being escorted around by his spirit guide, Pierce, who's actually in the form of the actor Pierce Brosnan, as if he's in the role of James Bond, the spy from, the UK. It's a very popular movie. So anyway, the off-world adventures include the character Pierce escorting Gerald to the new planet where he's going to convalesce in his brand new clone body. So that's another incarnation that's I toy with, but I mentioned that because throughout the book, Pierce is the spirit guide. He's supposed to be protecting me. But anyway, let's go back to the story in my, amnesis. I'm going to show you the poster I made. Soul resonance, remembering past lives. Downloads. I don't really think you're going to get downloads unless you give your mind a break, everybody. And you may be as old as I am. Doesn't matter. Okay. You need to give your brain a break. You're taking in a lot of media. All right. Give yourself a break to the point where it hurts. And then you know that you really do need to detox a little bit. But whatever, you know what? Might speed the effort. Grab a notebook and start writing. See what your subconscious has to say. And I guess that's always been my philosophy. So here I am. I've explored so many resonances, so much anamnesis in the last 2 STARCARD podcasts. And so today I'm not going to mention all those, but I did make a couple of T-charts right here of things Breakaway Ray has, is, or does, and what Sir Philip Sidney is all about. Just tail of the tape again, comparing the 2 men. It's not even fair. I mean, it's like saying, compare me to one of the Beatles. Is anyone old enough to remember those guys? Okay, because this guy's pretty awesome. Anyway, here's what I got. Sir Philip Sidney has the Invisible College. I have Breakaway University. All right. Sir Philip Sidney wrote a famous story of unrequited love that resulted in expanded understanding of the cosmos. Breakaway Ray wrote but did not publish a story of unrequited love that resulted in expanded confusion about the cosmos. Sir Philip Sidney hosted Giordano Bruno, took Bruno to Oxford University, where brilliant men made fun of his Neapolitan accent. Breakaway Ray did a meaningful video about Giordano Bruno and a bunch of videos complaining about people making fun of Italians. Remember that? That was like a couple of weeks ago. There's more. Okay. Sir Philip Sidney understood reincarnation as the main vehicle in the game of the universe. Breakaway Ray, for some reason, always talks about metempsychosis and the reincarnation cycle. That's a weird thing. Why am I focused on that? Okay. Breakaway Ray throws tarot cards. Sir Philip Sidney hung out with a dude who designed the tarot deck. All right. Sir Philip Sidney, everything is a moral issue. Everything is. Breakaway Ray turns everything into a major moral issue. Sir Philip Sidney lived just 32 years and died from wounds in battle. Breakaway Ray had a torturous career of 32 years and wishes he was dead. So that was supposed to be a joke, everybody. That's self-deprecating humor. Everything's fine. I'm safe. That was a joke. I'm not going to be taking any action on that punchline. Moreover, I make everything a moral issue, and I kind of feel like that's kind of casting a little shadow on the greatness of Sir Philip Sidney. But I wrote it down on the paper, so maybe someone got a chuckle out of it. He only lives 32 years, this guy. What an impact. Way beyond his death, way beyond his passing. So Breakaway Ray has a mission to bring advanced science and hermetic wisdom to humanity for some reason. Where did that come from? And Sir Philip Sidney had a mission to bring advanced science and hermetic wisdom to humanity. Now, it may not be that I have, like, again, a direct tie to Sir Philip Sidney, because I was reading something about an idea called an office. Like, you would want a guy like Sir Philip Sidney around all the time. Someone who's always organizing to send down teachers at the right time when civilization is changing, to educate everybody, give everyone a heads up. Okay, you always want a Sir Philip Sidney guy, and you need more than one. So you just make an office, and like when you're ready, you say execute, allocate. So maybe I'm one such person. But it very much entertains me because there's even more information, more data that tells me it's not just the office. And I think I was laughing out loud yesterday. Well, I was doing a lot of laughing and crying. Anyway, let's find out what else I got on my list here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. A thought that crossed my mind is that you could go back through any of the previous StarCard podcasts, and then you could look at it and say, check out this dude, Breakaway Ray. This guy is the reincarnation of Sir Philip Sidney, and he doesn't know it yet. And watch as he goes through his themes and his ideas and expresses what wisdom he thinks he finds. It's, it sounds just like the guy, Sir Philip Sidney. And then I thought to myself, we got a tool, you wouldn't even have to watch the video. You could ask the AI yourself. You could click on one from whatever month, okay? And you could say, hey, I wonder, YouTube AI, if you could analyze what Breakaway Ray says in this video and how it matches up with what Sir Philip Sidney might say. Do their ideas on cosmology seem to match up? And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to be batting pretty high, batting near 1,000. Because I'm frankly kind of surprised at the things I'm saying and the things I'm paying attention to, following instinct. I don't think I could have gotten here, by the way, as even if it's just for entertainment's sake, okay? If I hadn't cleared, get the media out of my house. Anyway, have I got more? I'm almost done, everybody. Oh, okay. So I mentioned that John Dee worked for Queen Elizabeth I. He also traveled to the continent as a diplomat. He was big time into sharing all kinds of knowledge. He was one of the progenitors of the Sydney Circle and the College of London, something London. I forgot the term. I'm sorry about that. But he was basically, setting off like a very materialistic and empiric-minded group of thinkers, okay, who stripped away all the mystery and the spirit. But meanwhile, another sect held on to that and went underground with it and became a cult. But it was a way of preserving things until the internet came out. We could all share these ideas and talk about them while our brains are ready for it, because now's a good time. All right, so let me check out. So Queen Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I had a guy named John Dee, and he was the original 007. I don't know if you knew about this. So I'm talking about, Elizabethan England. I don't know if I said Tudor before. I don't even know if that's correct. So I apologize if I made a mistake. Queen Elizabeth I. John Dee worked for the Queen, and, he went around collecting information. He went around on trips collecting information. Now, John Dee was also a magician. He was an occultist. And so anyway, the original 007, I'd like to revisit the idea of the book that I wrote, because when I started writing, which must have been, it was before the pandemic, so it must have been, 2015, 16, 17, something like that. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I had to get the story started, and I needed a spirit guide to go with me into outer space. And for some reason, I picked this James Bond Pierce Brosnan character. And as I've mentioned before, and even in the book, I'm a Roger Moore dude. But I dig Pierce Brosnan. He's a cool guy. Well, anyway, so I've got this character named Pierce, and it had to be a James Bond guy, 007. I was not like infatuated with 007 or anything like that. I wasn't obsessed with it. I've said this kind of thing before. But anyway, I just went with it. And now does it not make sense? The character that looks like me in the story that I wrote in the Convoluted Autobiography, okay, is hanging out with a James Bond 007, a 007. And Sir Philip Sidney, likewise, has someone protecting him, okay, a very magical man, John Dee, the original 007. Why did I pick 007? Anyway, just a coincidence. It's very entertaining, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to click end video at the end of the show, and that'll be the end of it, right? Breakaway Ray, we'll all be done talking about Sir Philip Sidney. Yeah, well, I got to go on with my life. Somehow I got to keep up with that guy and not mess it up. All right. Well, let me see what else I got on my notes here. All right. So I've hired psychics, and messages I've received from these psychics who don't know each other. Okay. They say the same thing, that you need to be excited about who you are. You need to get pumped up about your mission. And if I was Sir Philip Sidney and I was, sharing what's going on with Breakaway Ray, I'd be, oh yeah, come on, let's go. Let's do it. I've been waiting for this for 500 years. And so anyway, as I mentioned, no media, spending hours on end in uninterrupted trains of thought. And so I finally put together, all right, so Sir Philip Sidney, I figured it out. Congratulations. All right. Can I be done now? Because it's been kind of taxing doing all this work, learning about past lives and publishing books and making videos and starting a podcast. And I don't know what they expect me to do. But we also have to, be a little empathic, Breakaway Ray, because this is just like not a normal, ordinary individual, is it? Not this guy. All right. I want to make sure I got all my notes covered here. I don't think there's any arguing with Sir Philip Sidney. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right. So I asked, can I be done now? Probably not. So there was a moment where they're all, congratulations, you figured it out. Okay, are you ready to get to work? I'm all, no, I want to go to sleep. I want to take a nap. I still got reservations. Let's put it that way. I still don't see, how I'm going to recoup and move on, despite, all the miracles they've strung together for me. So anyway, they saw that I was like less enthusiastic than they wanted me to be, for sure. And that's probably just because I'm kind of rattled, guys. You guys left me in a pressure cooker too long. Okay? I'm still shaking it off. I don't know if I'm looking for any more here. And also, I don't know what you want me to do. And also, I want to say, I don't think it matters if I know I think it's coming at me. I don't think I have a choice. But anyway, let's see what it says here. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. All right. So as I hinted at just a moment ago, one of the things I'm concerned about is my personal economy, because I feel like I lost a great deal over the long haul, and I feel a little I feel like it was unjust, and I want to make, I kind of look around and I say things could be better for me, and I would be more, I would have a sense of reassurance. I can't even get through the sentence correctly. I know I've been through this before, trying to explain how I feel in a polite, diplomatic way. I'm upset. I'm angry about what happened. I feel like my bank account could be better. Okay. but things happen beyond my control, and some of it was illegal from my point of view. Here, am I getting fired up enough for you? And so that I'm kind of upset about that. And now what's going on in the spirit world wants me to throw tarot cards for free and spill my guts on camera for all the world to see. I wonder if that's iambic pentameter. I'll have to check after the show. So, it's kind of like a negotiation, Anyway, I have my doubts and reservations about where I'm going. I don't see the light where the money is streaming through. And then I had to reconsider. If it's true, just entertainment, just for fun. And I got to practice saying this. I'm going to add this to my mantras, right? I'm going to write a good one. But if this is really Sir Philip Sidney, okay, you think they're going to send him down here where he's going to run out of cash? I've already heard from so many psychics who say you have a lot of support. You got a lot of protection. I've seen it throughout my life how as bad as I say things are and were, there's a whole bunch of things that never happened to me. So, this guy, Sir Philip Sidney, he's on a mission. Maybe he's just getting started. Again, we're using our imagination to play along. But they're not going to send him down here, again, without being prepared. In fact, he used to hang out with royalty, and he used to hang out with John Dee, of all people, okay, one of the great magicians of all time. So anyway, get ready for more magic to happen. What else? Have I covered everything? Yeah, no flimsy finances for Phil. Okay, Phil's going to be just fine. And what else we got here? Yeah, I think I covered it all. Wait. Oh, I mentioned the hard sell. And what I'm trying to do here is to illustrate the dialogue I'm trying to have with the invisible world here. So I know they're trying to talk to me. My head is ringing all the time. And my sleep habits are being interrupted. And anyway, one of the things that happened was there's this one tarot person, the last one left, and I barely watch this one anymore, but she put up a video yesterday, which is a day ahead of time. Anyway, as you can imagine, she was saying the same things, that I just kind of repeated a moment ago. Get ready, get excited, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to now ask the tarot world what's going on. So even with all the notes that I wrote, it still seems kind of scattered, huh? So what we're going to do, we're going to first ask the Invisible College. We're going to first ask the Invisible College. We all know the Invisible College is monitoring our podcasts because we see it in the tarot cards. I ask a question of the tarot world and the message is delivered. A lot of times it's inspirational and actually helpful in a material way, in an emotional way, in a spiritual way for all of us or for some of us individually. So based on all the things I went on and on about today, I wonder if the Invisible College has a message for us. Remember the Rider-Waite cards, Team Sydney Circle. We're going to go to these cards again. This is where the Invisible College would have started. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope I gave you enough to think about. All right, let's make some magic happen. Woo! Great. How am I doing on time? Oh, an hour and 9 minutes. All right. Sounds good to me, Breakaway Ray. Whoops. All right. All you teachers and ascended masters in the Invisible College, I know you're all familiar with my brain stem. and my eardrums. So Invisible College administration, I invite you to send a message to the team, to all the students that tuned in the auditorium. Thank you very much. Here's a message from the Invisible College for all of us. Invisible College, Team Metempsychosis, coming back over and over again. Now's the time to bring your best game on. Okay, the Knight of Cups, the Knight in Shining Armor. The Nine of Swords, the Sleepless Nights, anxieties, worried about stuff. The Nine of Wands, someone who's been through a lot, required a lot of wisdom. And the Hermit, turning inward. You know, I'm asking if there's a message from the Invisible College for all of us. And I'm going to be frank, it really looks like the Invisible College is addressing me. You're the guy in front of the camera. You can't sleep at night because you've been beat up so bad and you've been turned in. Sorry, that is you've been turning inward, right? So I guess a lot of us have experienced something like that. We're all on the Invisible College team. So Queen of Cups, here we go. Being the empathic leader, we can see things that maybe not all the others around us see. We allocate our resources in a way that benefits everybody. And in conclusion, we make the best of what we have. The Page of Pentacles, we're going to have a new opportunity, including a new opportunity for learning. And that's right. The Knight of Pentacles says you are the correct person for the job. You are the correct custodian of this project, this new way of going about things. All right. Again, it looks very autobiographical. What was becoming, as empathic as an awesome grandma. Okay. That's a little transformation after you turn inward. Okay. But nevertheless, we're all starting out like the Knight in Shining Armor. We're the ones down here on surface planet Earth going to make it work. Thank you very much, Invisible College. Thank you, Tarot World. That was awesome. Let me give these a toss and see what my next poster says. Okay. Use it or lose it, everybody. Why just have feelings and experience coincidences and then go play roles in an empty set of circumstances just because you feel obligated? Okay, I realize that sometimes it's tough to break, like certain circumstantial mutual dependencies. But in any case, and you want to be free, use it or lose it. You have an energy. It can be taken a picture of with a Kirlian camera. We've talked about that already. Anyway, you're an immortal spiritual being leading a temporary human existence. So use it or lose it while you're down here. You came to Waterslide Park, surface planet Earth. So grab that mat and go on as many rides as you can before we have to go home. And by the way, when you go home, we got a barbecue planned. Okay? So use it or lose it, everybody. Learn about your soul. Learn about how spirit science works. Don't count on me to learn it for you. Some of you are way, way, way ahead of me. Here we go. Use it or lose it, everybody. The Knight of Wands. See, that is a guy that says use it or lose it. Let's go right now. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Okay? And then the Empress. Here's the Abundance card. Use it or lose it. It's like those billionaires. How can they spend all that money in one lifetime? Makes me think of the movie Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. Anyway, use it or lose it, Use it right now. You have it all right now. Even if you think you got nothing, you're all full of soul, baby. But I'm getting all pumped up, and then the Five of Pentacles shows up. You're going to experience spiritual poverty. That's a familiar term to long-term subscribers here. You're going to experience spiritual poverty. If you don't use it, okay, you're going to lose it. You're going to drive to that neighborhood and leave the sports car unlocked with the keys in it and then just go upstairs and hang out with your friend for half an hour. That car's not going to be there when you come downstairs. You want people to feel free to just hijack your soul and your spirit. How about you do it? Take control. The spirit world is hidden from you. I'm telling you to wake up. That's the truth, says the Ace of Swords. Two of Swords, you're at a crossroads. You got to make up your mind, okay? You're blindfolded right now, but you got all the tools you need to make it happen. And you don't have to spend 10 years studying your own spirit like Breakaway Ray did. Turn inward now. You could do it like a couple of months. You'd be a transformed person. 5 of Cups. Oh, yeah. Get past your disappointments. Turn you upside down, buddy. Okay, that's right. And then the Chariot says, I'm moving on. And the Temperance says, the Temperance card says, check me out, I'm cool. How is this just for a philosophy of life? Disappointment? Oh, too bad. Turning you upside down, moving on. That's cool. Use it or lose it, everybody. You know, in other words, don't get hung up on Zamna's 4 problems, right? One of them being, oh, I'll never get past this unhappiness, this unpleasantness, okay? Get over it, move on, everything's cool, show's not over. All right, I'm going to give these a toss. Thank you very much. I hope that message was inspirational. Yeah, 10 of Cups. It's a dream come true. How about that? Guess the tarot world likes it. Sorry, I lost a couple of cards. Let's give these a toss and go to the next subject. I think there's one more. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about you, everybody. Aren't you, but besides the fact that you're expanding your soul, and then if you do expand your soul and you become a balanced person, you survive civilization, okay? You get out the door with all your energies all balanced out, okay? Just by being happy and working on your soul, you're infiltrating a system that's designed to keep you sad. Isn't that awesome? You can outsmart the system by deliberately choosing to be happy, okay? And there's secret knowledge that now is uncovered. It's not so secret anymore, okay? And also that knowledge comes with it tools on how energy works. So now here you are on surface planet Earth, and don't you feel like a spy? Well, you could activate all your gadgetry and access all the knowledge, but you are going to have to put down the phone where you're watching the ball game. Okay. Anyone still watch the Kardashians? Oh, I'm so sorry I said that name on my own podcast. So this is okay. I know all the cards have kind of been aiming at me a little bit here, but I'm asking, what about the viewer tuning in right now, right? Shouldn't you also feel like you're a spy? You have, way, way, way more that makes it feel like you don't even fit in what you're supposed to be doing in your world. 10 of Wands. There's a lot of work. Sure is a lot of work blending in and fitting in. The Empress. But here comes the abundance of what's in your spirit and in your soul. And the King of Swords says, you need to cultivate that, says the 7 of Pentacles. You need to make that grow. Then you'll understand the mission better. Q is trying to get through to you. I'm a little bit busy, Q. So next up, the High Priestess. Representing perfection of the soul, having high morals, thinking for the benefit of others and for the benefit of the cosmos. And that could include, fighting back in the Orion Wars. It could be something like that, okay? Or fighting for the spirit world. The 4 of Swords, a lot of that fighting is going to be done during meditation. I mean, check out this guy. He looks like he's in a tanning bed with the swords. Okay, what is that, like the Avatar movie? You know, he's in the Avatar bed, but he's taking his weapons with him. I don't know. Okay, next up, come on, you spies, get ready. That there's a change coming, and it's worth celebrating. You're going to enjoy it more. If you expand your mind more, you'll have more to enjoy with. And then the Queen of Wands says, again, since you have to be happy to help break the system, okay, to make the fear and the anger and everything else meaningless and not worth anything in a financial way. Wow, check that out. Therefore, the Nine of Cups says it's a wish come true for you to be able to do this. Go be happy. Go play. This is your recess. The Sun card says everything's going to be all right. Phew. Thanks, Tarot World. I hope that was great for everybody tuning in, trying to figure out from their ham radio operator, Breakaway Ray, what they're saying back at HQ. Okay, and now finally, as the persona playing Sir Philip Sidney, I wonder if the great magician, John D., the original 007, is there. And maybe he wants to throw some cards and send a message. Hello, John D. I invite you to send us a message. Thanks for all the help. Thanks for all the teaching. Isn't it great to be together again? Let's have some fun. Thank you, Master D. Here we go. Judgment, swapping out the old for the new. The Four of Swords, the meditation card. Recovering the old life in the new life through meditation. The Queen of Swords, you guessed correctly, Breakaway Ray. The Page of Wands. And now you have unlimited perspective. So the Sun card. Don't worry, everything's going to be all right. The Justice card. This is your justice, Breakaway Ray. This is cosmic justice. Don't worry about this little piddly stuff on surface planet Earth. We got you covered, Sir Philip Sidney. So, Strength card says, be strong. The Two of Wands says, the universe likes your plan, is giving you the green light. You should go for it. And the Fool card says, and now you're off on a new adventure, Breakaway Ray. So I guess John D. was there. Thanks, Tarot World, for delivering the message. And now I'm relieved that this is all over. God. I'm going to give these cards a toss. That's a lot of Sun card, right, baby? Cool Sun card. Oh, I was actually going to share a screen. Yeah, let me do this before I get to tarot for the audience. I got one screen about John D to share with you. I can do this. Here we go. Oh, great. It didn't look like this before. Anyway. Oh, that's because I have the new monitor up. All right, so let me share with you about John D. Born 1527, died 1609, was a renowned Renaissance mathematician, astronomer, and occultist who served as a trusted advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. He is widely popularized as the historical inspiration for James Bond's 007 code name, as he reportedly signed his confidential spy-related letters to the Queen with the number. The 007 connection. Eyes only. According to popular lore, the 2 zeros in D's signature represented the Queen's eyes. The number 7 was a lucky number in occultist and alchemical traditions, intended to provide divine protection and luck. And here's a note about the historical fact versus lore. While many accounts attribute the inspiration directly to D's letters, some modern scholars suggest the 007 connection was actually a fascinating piece of historical myth-making created by author Donald McCormick in the 1960s. I'm sorry, I read that part. I didn't mean to. D's role as a spy. Secret agent. D frequently traveled to Europe under the guise of attending spiritual and intellectual conferences, which you can read about, but historians believe he was actively gathering intelligence for Elizabeth I and her spy master, Francis Walsingham. By the way, Francis Walsingham's daughter married Sir Philip Sidney. Let's see. And they do mention that he was like collecting information for the Queen secretly, but there was more to it than that. It was like hermetic knowledge as well. Let's look at the legacy and studies part. Scientist and magician. D was the premier scholar of his day, possessing one of the largest libraries in England. He walked the fine line between rigorous science and high magic. One of his most famous intellectual contributions was a complex mystical symbol he created to represent the unity of all creation, which he detailed in his 1564 work, Monas Hieroglyphica. Okay, so we learned about John Dee today. That's kind of cool. I gotta say, I feel like I had a lot of denial, and I've observed my own recollection, as far back as college or whatever, because I was an English lit major. I feel like I must have read Sir Philip Sidney. I can't believe that I haven't. I really do believe that I've actually gone through this before, maybe when I was much, much younger, before I drowned in my, waking hours with media as much as possible. And, with the drudgery of work, for example, okay, I may have gone through all this before, but for sure, if this is a true thing, clearly I've left a lot of material clues. And one of the hallmarks of a Rosicrucian is that you're building different bodies, not just your astral and spirit bodies, your etheric bodies, but even your physical one. So I call everyone's attention to the first video, currently the top video over at STARCARD podcast with a picture of Bashar the alien, where we explore some pre-life programming for the body that I have now, which again is like the tarot world's argument with me. You did that much. Now, you're Sir Philip Sidney's redux or whatever. Okay, you think we haven't got this planned already? We got all the resources allocated. Don't even worry about it. You're going to have what you need. Stop worrying. Anyway, it's kind of hard. So anyway, we got that all out of the way, I think. I hope you enjoyed my exploration. I appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. And now I'm going to go into the chat and say hi to people who are here. And if you're new here and you don't have a name tag, I'm going to make one for you. I see I already have a couple of likes. That's very nice, everybody. Appreciate it. Let's go way up to the top. All right. So hello, Spiderbite. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Namira. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Antonietta. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Emma Leviathan. All right. Hi, Rowie. Hi, Arwin. Hi, Lisa Talcott. Hey, Kimmy Moses. Way up at the top there. All these kids checking in at the Invisible College. Don't be coming to my class wearing your sweats. All right, so I'm trying to see if there's other names I haven't recognized yet. Oh, Salama's there. Hi, Salama. Hey, Kimberly Bamford. All right. I want to thank Kimberly and Emma and everybody else for your positive commentary, which I'm going to read more carefully after the show. I appreciate the time you took to write the comments and I appreciate your encouragement. Thank you very much. Anyway, when you do that kind of thing and you reinforce my behavior, you're more likely to see it again. So, let me go get my name tags. So here's where I keep the name tags. I got shamrocks and apples and schoolhouses here. And I got the cats. These are cats from Lyra, Lyra. Right, because we're going to win the Orion War. I'm going to throw some light on this down here so I can see the words written on the cats. Here I go. Wow, there you are, Emma. Lisa Tailcat. Yeah, Kimmy Moses. There's Rowie. Spider Bite. Okay, that's all the cats. I think Kimberly Bamford is asking about my name tag. I have my face on the bulletin board for BU, Breakaway University. But thanks for thinking of me. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, I drew the line. That's in case anyone joins us after the line. It helps me contain the readings list. I mean, I don't know. Someone could drop by with 50 of her closest friends and all of a sudden. So anyway, gotta have some boundaries sometimes. I'm going through the shamrocks and the apples right now. Yeah, there's Arwen. And Salama. That's a funny message, Emma Leviathan, about your cat, responding to the cats. All right. Sorry. I'm looking through schoolhouses now. There we are, Antonietta. Kimberly Bamford. See, and I did the tarot card throw on video. So now, like if I have doubts when I turn off the camera, I go back to the video. Kimmy Moses. Namira. Hey, if you are above the line and I accidentally left you off, go ahead and type a message to me in the chat. I can do a reading for you. It's no big deal, really. It'd be a bigger deal that I didn't read for you. So if I missed anyone by accident, go ahead and type your name in the chat. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. I got a lot of help over on this side. while I go through these name tags alphabetically. All right, so I hope I got everybody. Namira, Kimmy Moses, Kimberly Bamford, Antonietta, Arwin, Salama, and then all those cats, okay? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for inviting me to read. I get so much practice, and obviously it's affecting whatever's going on in my brain. Practice. All right. And you know what? I mean, we had a lot of fun so far, and I'm going to have more fun now, too. I'm going to take out the Lightseers deck. Let's go downstairs. Wow, John D. Ugh. So I'm going to go see a counselor, and I'm going to explain. Yeah, I'm getting messages from John D. Now, where's that going to get me? All right, here we go. We're going to start off with Namira. Let's make some magic happen, Namira. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for inviting me to read. You know what? All I did was I didn't even look for requests or anything, everybody. But I'm going to throw some cards for you. I feel like good things are going to happen. These cards are for Namira. Hey, if Namira's spirit guides are there, you may use my brainstem. Let's send her a nice message. Caring parent and grandparent. A good friend. A good friend to have. I'm thinking about bread from the bakery. Right. Fancy kind. Nice. Here we go, Namira. The King of Wands, the big picture. Overcoming all obstacles. But you know, at the beginning, it's kind of like saying, here's the big picture for Namira. Okay? Justice and the Seven of Pentacles. Whatever you're growing is good. It's the right thing to do. Does the notion of tough love cross your mind when I say these things? It crossed mine. Maybe that's just my mind. It's healthy, to have balance and to pare away what's unnecessary. It's good for growth. And then watch the magic happen, says the Ace of Wands. And the Four of Pentacles says, see, I told you so. You got to prize what shines. Besides, like, save for a rainy day, use your, invest your money wisely. And then the world says that's completing the picture. That's like the main thing. That's the whole show. The big picture is you were right when you when you went with what you grow, or there's balance when you're going with the right thing because you're making magic happen. Yeah, sending that message. Here we go. The message needs to be told right now, the Eight of Wands, because there's a change coming, says the Death card. And the Hermit shows that someone's outside by him or herself. And then there's the Seven of Swords saying that there's something hidden. The big picture is that you're doing the right thing by paying attention to what you're growing, and you're talking about making the magic happen by prizing what shines and not being extravagant, and then the world is yours. You need to tell them that now, because there's changes coming at the same time. Even though you're doing all the right things, maybe someone's keeping something private and to themselves. And that wouldn't surprise you. And I feel I feel like a Benedict Arnold almost as like a betrayer, because a lot of people don't like it when someone thinks that they can read their mind. I know I don't. I don't like it when people say I can read your mind. Well, you don't even know what you're talking about. And that's not talking about the illustrious psychics I've spoken to you about here at StarCard Podcast. I'm talking about people who automatically thought, whatever in certain situations. Anyway, back to the show. Namira, I hope that was a good message. Thanks for your feedback, Namira. And thanks for inviting me to read. Let's see who's next. Kimberly Bamford. Wow, it doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning. Oh, is it 4, 5 in the morning now? Kimberly Bamford's going to come out. Yeah, you go, Namira. All right. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Hey, Jason's here. Missing time 420. Hi, Jason. If you wanted a reading, Jason, you might want to type it in capital letters. Otherwise, thanks for dropping in. Have a good time. It's great to see you. And these cards are for Kimberly. Here we go. That's right, Kimberly. Let's go. Let's roll them dice and throw them cards. Whoa. Thanks, Kimberly, for inviting me to read. First up, the 10 of Pentacles. Long-term security, domestic happiness, the comfort of home. The Knight of Swords. Going after it energetically, defending oneself. That's all that matters. All that matters is the comfort of home, right? Your inner circle. Look at that circle. And you know what? We got another circle there. The Emperor sitting on the giant beanbag chair that looks like a giant peach from James and the Giant Peach. The Emperor, you're in control. When, you're experiencing that sense of gezellig, I think that's the correct word in Dutch, that comfort of home, it's all that matters. You really feel like you're in control there. Yeah, there you are, the Queen of Cups. You can relax and all parts of you can come together. The 9 of Wands. When you step outside and you look around, whatever the landscape looks like, you're still like the wind is blowing in your face. The apocalypse has long been blown past, or the hurricane has long been blown past. What you set up survived, okay? And now you're ready to take on more. And the 2 of Wands says, that's a good plan and you should go for it. Every day is a new day. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. And you came to StarCard Podcast to be inspired. Please be inspired. Go out there and have another great day. Thanks for tuning in, Kimberly. Way to go. Give me somebody to talk to. Excellent. Oh, hey, Jason, Moonshadow. You got it. I think I got it right here. So I'm going to remove Kimberly's name tag, and just because I happen to see Jason's request, I'm going to go ahead and throw cards for him. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Thanks for your feedback. I appreciate it. Da-na-na-na-na. Awesome. Okay, here we go, Jason. I'm going to take the blank cards out this time. Yeah, right on, Jason. I just, I'm not taking out your name tag. I'm happy you're here for lots of reasons. Anyway, here we go. These cards for Missing Time 420, and this deck is especially pleased to be called out. All right, so these cards for Jason, Missing Time 420. exploring all kinds of crazy ideas on the internet. All right. Let's talk about a star seed. Probably, yeah. Whoa. You know what? I don't know. This has never like happened where I actually bent cards like this. I'm going to put them together. I'm not happy that I bent those beautiful cards. Anyway, Jason, we're having fun. Right when I said star seed, right? Isn't that when they exploded? Again, never did that to cards. All right, let's find out what they say. The Five of Swords and the World. The Five of Swords says you got to win. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. I'm going to look at it this way. The Five of Swords says you got to win, and you're here to save the world. The other way to look at it isn't as much fun. The other way to look at it is to say the world is filled with abuse. I like the first one. Jason, Missing Time 420 is here to save the world. All right, we're here to work with you. Okay, starting off your message with the Strength card. Be strong. The Four of Wands, it's a homecoming and a celebration. So it's going to be a good party. The King of Swords. Wow. Hang on a second. And the Eight of Cups. That's a weird message to think about. There's going to be this awesome party, but the King of Swords says you should walk away. Or maybe, it's going to be an awesome party, homecoming, celebration. And the truth is, you're going to walk away feeling satiated. I mean, those were great cups. And then you'll be ready to save the world. Oh, do you just need to recharge? Four of Swords. Recharge. Go to sleep. Good night, Jason. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you got to save the world. We need a well-rested Jason. Thank you, Terror World. That was an adorable lullaby. All right. Salama. Here you go, Salama. Let's go Light Seers and have some fun with the Light Seers deck again. Oh, wow, Jason. Thanks for sending that message too. You're a good guy. Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for mentioning that from my behalf also, that the cards fit. Yeah, you're a real lifesaver. Way to go, dude. All right. Hey, Salama. Changing consonants. Salama, these cards are for you. All right. Salama's spirit guides are welcome anytime. Can we have a nice message for Salama, please? These cards are for Salama. Yeah, read it anytime. Let's make it easy for Salama. Everything comes with grace and ease. That's a nice cluster. Everything comes with grace and ease. Grace and ease. Okay. Let's see what happens. Salama, the Queen of Cups. You're ready for a message from the spirit world. You're comfortable in a meditative state. The Knight of Cups says, well, here comes your knight in shining armor. The Chariot, keep galloping forward. The Nine of Swords, maybe you have some stuff on your mind. And I don't know why the World card is upside down. Maybe you feel like the world is upside down. I hope that's not the case. Okay, so here's you're ready for a message from the spirit world. And the principal message is to keep going. Even though things in your world look topsy-turvy and upside down. Because the Ten of Cups says it's going to be a dream come true. Because we're shaking out all the garbage. I don't know how else to say it. we're making room for good vibrations, and therefore here's the emperor. He's in control because the hangman says he's looking at things in a different way. And then guess what? One of those ways is to use your subconscious. Ask your higher self how she perceives what's going on and what she would recommend. But if you appreciate it from a cosmic perspective, you're going to be styling and you can create more. And you really have to base more on your imagination and somehow finding a way to have fun. Wouldn't it be fun if this happened? That would be awesome and exciting and amazing if that miracle happened. And then just watch other miracles are going to start happening. Make the word miracle part of your daily vocabulary. Okay. And then after saying all that, here's the King of Wands. He says, you can overcome all obstacles. And that is the big picture. Don't forget the High Priestess is over here. All right, Salama, way to go. Thanks for inviting me to read at this early hour. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. All right. Way to go, Breakaway Ray. Keep it going. Yeah. Hey, Sir Philip Sidney's circle, you guys listen to the Invisible College. You guys don't need to make my head ring after the show, all right? I turned on the camera. Here we go. Antonietta, you're next. I know, they want more. You think sleep is important, Breakaway Ray? All right, Antonietta, I'm going to throw, yeah, why not? The Moon Shadow Floral Vow. These cards are for Antonietta. All right, we have fun with Antonietta's readings. Thanks a lot for inviting me to read. I love the practice, Antonietta. I mean, that's amazing that I'm throwing cards and you're picking up a message on the other side of the planet, on the other side of the ocean. Isn't that a miracle? I guess just tuning in to something like that would be a miracle. That's total science fiction. Here we go, Antonietta. It's the Five of Swords, winning at all costs, even abuse, a little cutthroat action. But in the positive way, it's like, the eye of the tiger, you know that you want to win. You have your eye on the prize. So that's a good one, Breakaway Ray. Five of the Swords. You have your eye on the prize, Antonietta. And you always have your eye on a prize. There's at least three. Like if this one doesn't work out, you've already got your eye on a couple of different things going on. It cracks me up the way I feel like I'm reading your cards. Okay, so here is the Empress, right? Abundance, Hey, maybe I'll have some of this. Maybe I'll have some of that. I'm paying attention to all of it. And the Page of Cups, and there's a happy surprise. I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if you go to Vegas, but I don't know if you ever go to a casino and play blackjack and you sit at the table, but you play more than one hand. Why not? I'm going to play more than one hand because I'm going to win with one of them. Okay. The Judgment. I'm going to swap out the old for the new or get ready maybe more in a macrocosmic way. You may win at this hand, at this table. You may win at that table, but you might just get a lottery ticket, and something special might happen there. Really lucky? Really? Let's see. Queen of Pentacles, the sensible working parent. I think this is something you have to do. This is I'm not saying it's your vocation, but it sounds like something an entrepreneur would do. You're constantly, looking to close a deal, and you always have to win, and you always have to move on to the next one just to keep the show going. I still think you have a way of elevating your perspective over situations. You're very capable of monitoring more than one thing. So anyway, the Nine of Wands says you do have a lot of experience, and the Two of Swords says that experience pays off. Whenever new decisions come your way, experience counts. That's where the wisdom's at. You've even transformed yourself. You make decisions and handle things differently now, like we can all say as adults who are maturing than we would have when we were younger adults. Okay, we've learned to adjust things, adjust the way we approach things. Anyway, in conclusion, the good news is, is that good news? The good news is that it's, the Ten of Swords says that the hard times are over. The hard times are over. So let's not visualize the swords. Let's visualize that image from the movie Flashdance when the water comes down upon the dancer instead. All right, because the hard times are over. Antonietta, that was a lot of fun for me. I say good for you. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Tarot World. That was a fun story for me to tell. It's all for entertainment purposes only. All right, who's next? I want to give these a toss first. Is that you, Kimmy Moses? I'm going to throw some cards for you out there, and I'm going to get the Robin Wood deck out. Here we go. Thanks for joining us, Kimmy Moses. These cards for Kimmy Moses. These cards are for Kimmy Moses. Thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. I'm going to be on the Typical Skeptic podcast on July 4th. Rob has confirmed that with me. That's going to be cool. Here we go. And these cards for Kimmy Moses. Got a little cluster there. Kimmy Moses. What's up with Kimmy? Oh, yeah. All right. Let's showcase her magic. The magic of Kimmy Moses. This is the anamnesis card where you're remembering things from past lives. It's the Seven of Cups. Lots of opportunities. Anamnesis, I mean, maybe there's more than one message here, but the Six of Wands, victory and public recognition. Seven of Wands, overcoming all challenges. Six of Pentacles, let's do business, giving and receiving, and charity. 676. Whoa, 7676. 7676. Hey, it's almost July 4th, and our country was born in 1776. But this says 7676. Anyway, God bless America. Kimmy, you got a flag up already in your yard? That'd be pretty cool. To anyone who has a flag up, way to go, everybody. I ought to get a flag up. So there's so many opportunities, so many paths to victory. Each one has a challenge. Each one's going to take time. You got to treat each one like an individual. And you know what? We're going to finish the job, whichever one we start. The world is ours. It'll be completed. And then we can, Eight of Cups, walk away and go on to the next one. So, Kimmy Moses, as much as you can imagine, the Three of Pentacles says build something new or work with your spirit team. And the Three of Wands says to project into the future. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Clearly delineate. This sounds like the kind of message I'm supposed to give out nowadays. Not that Kimmy Moses needs to hear this. I think she knows. But to make that magic happen in the age of Aquarius, you need to be very clear on what you think you need in pursuit of whatever your soul's goals are. And that can go right down to, you know what, I'm going to need transportation. Somehow I need transportation. And, if you recognize that you have that need and you speak, I'm speaking to everybody, not to Kimmy Moses. I think Kimmy Moses might do this unconsciously. It's not a big deal. But if you can do that consciously and deliberately, you're exercising a skill that most people would say you were crazy if you said that you had, especially if you said it more than 10 years ago, that you're working with ghosts to improve things and have the right things come your way as you go through your day. So in any case, the real message for Kimmy Moses, at your advanced state, I may suggest, okay, as much as you can imagine, keep working with us, and together we're going to build a bright future. We're going places, Kimmy. Yeah, I think you've already demonstrated. You probably passed this test a couple of times. Thanks for inviting me to read, Kimmy. And thanks to your spirit guides. I hope I did a good job. We'll give these a toss. All right, next up, I got Rowie. Thanks for tuning in again, Rowie. Here we go. These cards are for Rowie. Way to go, Tarot World. Thanks for making all these insomniacs happy. Well, if it's 5 in the morning, I guess you're allowed to wake up. Okay. These cards are for Rowie. These cards are for Rowie. Rowie. It's all about the cosmos. All right, Rowie. Thanks for all the emojis. Here we go. The Knight of Swords. Charge, Rowie. Page of Pentacles. Did you just discover a new passion? Did you just discover that you get to do more research on something? Uh-oh, I think I see what's behind. Isn't that inspiring, says the star card. Finally, I don't know. I mean, it's as if you would say, finally, school started. I was so bored during the summer. Anyway, the 10 of Wands. There's a lot of work to do to take on this project that I'm so inspired to do. This could also be like, a backyard project or a do-it-yourself project. And the 7 of Cups says there's so many ways to go to address this. It's like you want to go on every ride at the amusement park at once. But what if we were talking spiritually? Did you just discover something new and inspiring about your higher self after a lot of work, and now you're experiencing anamnesis and memories of past lives? Ace of Wands, ta-da, abracadabra. It's anamnesis magic. Rowie's experiencing past lives. Well, the knowledge of. So, Ace of Swords, that's the truth. I'm not joking around. The 5 of Wands, I'm sorry to say, there's a lot of naysayers out there who might disagree that that's even a thing, Breakaway Ray. But the 6 of Cups says anamnesis is happy memories, man. All right. Way to be informal and relaxed on a Tuesday morning. Thank you, Tarot World. Thanks for inviting me to read, Rowie. Enjoy the anamnesis. Thanks, Tarot World. I wonder who's next. Yo, so I called Kimmy Moses, and I guess I forgot that she has 2 cats. So anyway, I'm very sure I just did Kimmy Moses. I'm now going to switch cats for whales. This is for Emma. And thank you, Rowie. I appreciate your comments. Okay, here we go, Emma. Ooh, hey, Emma, right now, you should be like the hermit and turn inward. There's a message coming in for you. What is this message about? What does Emma need to see? What does Emma need to hear? I know you're asking her to turn inward. Can we give her some clues, please? Clues for Emma. I'm going to take the top card, make it first, bottom card, make it last. Hey, Emma, this is for entertainment purposes only. Here's the message coming in. Queen of Swords. Hey, Emma, you were right. 5 of Cups. You were right to take 5 of Cups and the Hangman. You were right to take a different perspective on that disappointment. So, You could go like this. You could go like that. Okay. We turn that disappointment upside down. We took the hangman approach. We just turn it upside down. You were right to do that. You correctly alchemized that emotion and processed it and turned it into a positive. And I feel bad for anyone who gets in your way now. Oh, Three of Cups, you can celebrate, okay? Because you're the Queen of Wands in the first place. You're the mystic, and you're all about seizing the day. Carpe diem. You're determined and courageous. Nothing gets you down. What are you kidding me? And by the way, that's the right thing to do, okay? Staying balanced and, morally speaking, you got to take care of yourself first. That would, I was about to use a vernacular term. That would be very disappointing if this hung around, okay? Because you got so much other stuff going on in your life. For someone to stick that, it's like having someone, they accidentally shoot their ink from their pen and it gets on your shirt or something like that. You spoil that shirt. You know what? Thank you very much, shirt. I sure had fun wearing you, but I can't handle the reminder anymore. I'm going to thank this shirt and gently send it to Salvation Army or something, or give it away. But I don't need to think about that stuff anymore. Woohoo, I'm going to go party with my girlfriends. Totally. And everything's going to be all right because we're doing the right thing. We're focusing on what's positive. That's a real great thing when you have people who see eye to eye on a message like that. And wow, this is like a... Well, Emma, just to go straight up the way I normally would, this is a message from the spirit world telling you that you're being guided from rougher waters to calmer waters by a divine hand. And apparently the main thing is to maintain a chipper attitude and a positive spirit. I know you show it on the outside. Keep that inner Three of Cards going on. Keep that party going. Am I being too audacious? I hope not. Yo, they started off by saying the Queen of Swords said, "You're right." Way to go, Emma. Thanks for inviting me to read. Thanks for your feedback, Emma. All right, cool. Woohoo, we're all trying. I know I look like that. I feel like that emoji after the show. Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. Thanks for inviting me to read. I'm as surprised as anyone I'm getting any of these right. It's all magical. Yo, spider bite. Ouch. So, hey, Jason, maybe you're talking to Emma about her post. I can't tell if you're talking to her or me because I'm not sure what that one post means. But anyway, Emma's got a great podcast, everybody. You should go check it out. Spider Bite. I know which deck you like, but you know what? I'm going to pull out your second best deck. Isn't that cool how I remember your second best deck? Okay, so here we go, Spider Bite. Hey, check out the devil. What a hunk. He says to let it go. Come on. Give in to temptation. Break away through to the other side. Let's shuffle these cards. These cards for Spider Bite. Hello, Spider Bite. Changing continents again. Way to go, StarCard Podcast. Thank you, Internet. Thanks, YouTube. I'm gonna get a strike from YouTube because I'm gonna encourage people to use their imagination, and that's where it all happens. Let's see if I can pull that off. So I want to say hi to Kate O'Sullivan. Thanks for joining us, Kate O'Sullivan. Here we go, Spider Bite. These cards are for you. Yay, Spider Bite. Feel like I have to say hi to Mark. Hey, Mark. Woo, you're the man. All right. Spider Bite. Three of Pentacles. Let's build something new. Let's start a new project. There's always something to do. Oh, yeah, there's always something to do. Oh, who's going to do it? We're going to fight over household chores? The Two of Wands. You know what? I'll make a plan and it'll all get done. I do it every time. And the King of Cups says, not only do I do it every time, but it all comes out the better for everybody because I'm an empathic leader. I consider everyone else's time. So I feel like people can count on me to be considerate. So as a King of Cups would say, let's all work on these things together. Oh my goodness. Hey, Spider Bite. It's the Jim Morrison card. It's the Devil card. It says to let go of something and face the dark side. And the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Cups says it's time to walk away. You know what? If so, no matter which way you go, if you're saying let's make it, a team work together on a project, but it faces a negative vibration, then it's time to walk away. Cut your losses. All right, Spider Bite. I don't know if that story applies, but it sure was fun to read. This deck is hot. They're all pretty hot. Thanks, Tarot Decks. Oh, we're going to have fun reorganizing all of you after the show. Thank you, Tarot World. More lovely messages. All right. We have Arwen next. Here we go, Arwen. Watch all the shamrocks show up in a second. These cards are for Arwen. These cards for Arwen. Thanks for tuning in, Arwen. Arwen. Here they are. I'm talking about those cartoon emojis in the chat. What's going on, Arwen? Hey, I like how this card turned out upside down. I like that. That's going to work out good. Okay, here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so 9 of Wands. It's like the third base coach. I'm wise enough to know that I don't know everything. The Page of Wands. I'm also wise enough to know that there's only so many minutes in a day, and every day I want to play, and I have to fit that into my schedule. I got to do self-care. And the 9 of Swords says it helps me to deal with whatever's on my mind. And the 10 of Cups says it's a dream come true when I can go on that hike, the Knight of Swords, because I can get in touch with my higher self, says the High Priestess. And the Queen of Wands says, I can remember my mystical side and remember how much fun life can be when I focus on what I'm really happy about and not on things that might get me down. That's why the 5 of Pentacles, the guy that feels down, it's so easy to feel down. It's so easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel to be down, okay? But you've exercised your ability to pick yourself up. That's why that 5 of Pentacles is upside down. Arwen, you pump me up when you get in the chat. So I feel like you know what I'm talking about. And thank you very much for your positive attitude. It is infectious. All right. Thank you, Tarot World. Wonderful. Oh, my goodness. Another long show. More than 2 hours. Come on, Breakaway Ray. Why don't you just get your own radio station? Here we go. Last throw. Lisa Talcott. Lisa Tailcat. Here we go, Lisa. You got your notebook open? You're welcome, Arwen. Thanks for your message. These cards for Lisa. Lisa, who learns every time I turn on the camera. Somehow. That's awesome, Lisa. Well, I feel like you can learn in any situation. Because you're that kind of person. You find opportunities to expand and find something positive and move on. These cards really like you. What's going on over here? The King of Pentacles. I always like to say large and in charge for some reason. The Ace of Swords is a lot of truth. And the Queen of Pentacles. That would be, first of all, the King and Queen of Pentacles with the truth between them. Oh. There's a domestic partnership and there's some kind of an agreement. And obviously it's over money. Well, I don't know. That's just what the cards look like. That doesn't mean I know anything. Anyway, let's see what the rest of these cards look like. The Queen of Swords. Ooh, she says you were right. Wow, the Queen of Cups. Did you get 3 queens, Lisa? The queens are winning here. The Queen of Cups, you're going to be feeling good and going to feel like there's plenty of abundance for yourself there. And the Four of Pentacles, you're going to feel like you have all the coins. The Knight of Wands, so charge forward knowing, that you were right to begin with. Stop. I was about to admonish you. I should admonish myself. May I suggest that if you are perseverating and ruminating over the situation, the tarot world is suggesting stop. Don't spend your energy doing it anymore. The tarot world and the spirit world knows you were right. Okay? The Queen of Cups is going to be coming into some coins. So go on with your show. The Five of Cups, why'd you have to show up? It's a disappointment card. Well, you know what? I guess, whether the Queen of Cups feels like she got what she wanted or not, you go on in spite of the disappointment, right? What choice do you have anyway? And then in your mind, as the High Priestess, you conjure up a new reality where things go more your way and more miracles happen per day than used to. So set a goal for July, for example. Instead of just 4 miracles I recognize a day, I'm going to up it to 5 miracles a day. All right, Lisa, hope you find all the miracles you're looking for. It's a miracle to me to have you as a subscriber, a real supporter, and a real friend. Thanks a lot. Well, everybody, it was another long show. Thanks for joining me in my exploration of Sir Philip Sidney. And I hope you all have a great day. My name is Breakaway Ray. Now get out there and make your own day. I'll see you next time on StarCard Podcast. Woohoo! Maybe I get to go to sleep now and take a nap. See you later, everybody. Have a good one. Yeah.